How are you, mates? Just out in the bush today, and we've got thought we'd run a bit of an experiment. We've got a couple of axes here. None of them I've really swung before. This was a gift from a subscriber, which I'm very happy with. Very grateful. This is a Muller 1 kilo, I think it's the Canada model, and I've taken this down to 16 degrees. That's the finest I've ever taken any axe before, and I'm just kind of curious what's going to happen. I think at 20 it'll be fine. I thought we'll take it to 16, we'll measure it on the gauge there, and we'll just see how it handles it. Got another one that I've tuned up but I haven't swung yet. This is an old Tassie head on a spotted gum handle, and this is at a 20 degree chisel. So again, never been swung. It's not even really sharpened yet. It's actually got fairly flat edge, but it's freshly filed at 20 degrees. So we'll see how that goes. And then we've got another one I haven't used. If I can get it out of the sheet. The Helko Tasmanian. I was a bit surprised when I got this. I was expecting it. Reputation says it's a lot of work to fix one of these up, but this one actually came relatively well ground, I believe, for a factory axe anyway. And at one point I measured this, and it actually fit into the 19 degree slot on this angle gauge, but it is a convex. So if I measure it with this, it's going to measure up a little bit differently, I'd imagine. So it fit into the 19 slot. Right, so I slide this down here until it meets up with the edge, right in the apex of those rulers. It's actually at 24.2 on the edge, but it fits into the 19 degree slot in the gauge. So I guess it just shows that there is a little bit of a difference on how you take your measurements. But we'll give these a run. I think we'll go with the Muller first. Grey gum's pretty indicative of the sort of timber I'm going to come across fairly regularly. It's not super clear wood. And grey gum's fairly hard. Even for gum, it's fairly hard. But it's the sort of stuff that you're going to get. Not every piece of timber is going to be perfectly clear and beautiful, super soft stuff. We've got inclusions in here, we've got knots, we've got gum pockets, all sorts of stuff. So we'll throw this into it and we'll just see what the 16 degree can take. Alright, 16 degrees. Let's see what happens. That's one hit into some fairly clear timber. Cuts quite well. I guess the proof's in the pudding. Can 16 degrees handle it? Look. Pick the worst spot to try to film. It's still sharp, still straight, no rolling or anything that I can see. Oh, there's a few little nicks right on the edge there. And this is 16 with no micro bevel. So if I was to put a micro on this, there would have been no damage whatsoever by the looks of it. There's just a little bit of glinting on there. Don't know if you'll be able to pick that up. A little bit up here, a little bit at the back there. But we'll go and cut a notch and we'll see what happens. This is about 9-inch timber. And we've gone straight into a sap pocket. It's fairly green timber too. This had fallen across the track and been cleared off. I just picked up a couple of logs and brought them back here. Just widening the notch a bit. Wobbly log. Ooh. Oh, that doesn't sound good. Alright, I think I'm going to stop there. You'll have to check this out. Alright, so there's our cut. I don't know if you guys can see that. Here's our first couple of cuts up here. First couple of cuts, nice and smooth. We hit that sap pocket and look at the difference. I'll show you the head in a minute, but you can see that that's just tearing the wood out now. Now let's have a look at the axe. You see that? You see the damage on that? So like I said, that's 16 degrees, chisel edge, with no micro. Well, no significant micro anyway. I did strop it after I filed it. There you go. So I don't want this to indicate the quality of the Muller whatsoever. Muller's a good axe. It was good to file, and this is going to clean up pretty easily. But it does show that your grind angles count, the durability. Focus. There you go, there's a good shot. So that's what happens when you have too fine of a grind angle. I just can't get away with 16 degrees. That's why the majority of mine are 18, 20. And 18 will quite often get damaged, but I do run a fairly severe rolled edge on 18. 20 is pretty much the sweet spot. And I'm doing a terrible job at filming this. Right, so now let's check out this Tassie. Not sure the brand of it. Could be an L-well, could be an unstamped high test. There's no markings on it. But it's an old round pole Tassie. Still in good shape. And that's got a fresh 20-degree edge that's actually flat. I haven't sharpened it. So really this test is just about what you can get out of a bevel. Not even a sharp edge. It's not bad. We've got 2 knots in that section. Not the cleanest notch, but that's what 20 degrees with a flat, literally a flat edge would do. It's not sharp at all, but it's 20-degree bevel. And grey gum's not soft wood either. That's pretty cool. Who says you need a sharp axe? That's hard work though. Again, not the most beautiful notch. I'm really just throwing the axe in here, but smooth enough. It got the job done. Can't believe we did that with a bloody flat edge. That's awesome. Helko. First swing. I've had this for about a year and haven't touched it up. I was thinking about jumping it down a little bit, thinning out the handle, but this is still a stock handle. Still got all the pretty pictures and everything on it, and just the factory grind. And it's pretty decent. It's sharp. It'll cut you. If I was to run my finger along that, it'd hurt. Let's see what happens. Definitely need to thin that handle out. Scooping in the cut a little bit. If your axe is scooping in the cut, means you've got to true your edge up. Well, little bit. The Helko. Definitely needs some work, but I guess it's a usable axe out of the box. Aside from the handle, it is a nice handle too. It's a nice shape. Just the pain that they make it so bloody thick. Nice little palm swell on it. Go the Helko. Just so we've got a bit of a control axe, this is one I've used on the channel a couple of times. This is the high test. It's marked as a 4-pound Craftsman, but it's closer to 4.5. This one's on an engineered for Axeman race handle. We use this on the traffic hazard tree, and I've given this a good run. So this one is tuned up, it is sharp, it is stropped. This is at 18 degrees at the heel, about 19 or 20 in the center. And we'll see how this goes. And these notches are embarrassing, I'm just saying. Let's not pop that whole chip off. There we go. Yeah. Wobbly log. What have we got? So we had a knot and a split up here. We've got a void just in here, which would have been a sap line that's now hollowed out. So that's some dried kind of dead wood there. That just throws that out. Whoop. and all over the place. Don't stand on rolling logs. There's even a bit of rotted wood there. There's a knot. A bit more rot there. Another sap line. Yeah, not every bit of timber is perfect't clear. Sometimes you're going to get that sort of stuff. And I think you've got to tune your axes to suit it. Not every situation's ideal. At least that one actually looks like a notch. Those other two are pretty sad. Most of that damage is pretty much out already. I reckon that's about 2 or 3 minutes I've been filing. Just been running a fairly steep angle just to take most of that damage off, and then I'll just thin out this bevel again, and we'll add a micro this time and we'll see what happens. I will have to fix up this curve a little bit. It is going to end up with a fair sloping curve towards the back, so I'm going to have to take a little bit off here just to even that back out. But so far, for about 3 minutes of filing, that's pretty good. I think that's good steel to have in the bush. For steel that's too hard, you're not going to get nothing done. If you get some sort of damage like that, if you've got to use angle grinders or grinding belts or whatever, if you can't do this in the bush to your axe, then I think your axe is pretty much useless. That's just my opinion. No. I can pretty much put that back to work right now. That's sharp, that's taking skin off. And I reckon that's been about 4 minutes of filing. That's awesome. So there's a couple of minutes of filing. It's not perfectly flat how I had it. Oh, you can see we're back to a wire edge. Just there. So that's perfectly serviceable now. We have convex the edge a little bit, and we'll run a stone on it just to take that wire off, and then we'll put it back to work. I couldn't leave that Muller like that. Too nice of an axe. Let's get back to it. One good thing about this giant angle gauge, leave it out in the sun, you could cook a steak on that. That's awesome. I can barely hold it. 5 minutes with a file, about 2 minutes with a stone. We've taken it back to about 20, measured on the gauge. I don't know if you can see it. It's sitting nice in that 20 slot. So let's give it a go now. Very happy with that. That's some good steel. Let's give it a go. Still cutting just as deep. And this is probably a little bit bigger timber than what you'd usually use an axe like this for, at least in my opinion. This is more of a limbing axe, but it's getting it done, and I can tell already that the edge is going to hold up. That's 3 or 4 inches of chip there. Much better cut. We've got a knot there, a knot there, a sap line, bit of rot in the heartwood, and it's holding up to all of it. And this thing's so light to swing. You can swing this all day. Be nice if the log stayed still. Jeez, my aim's off today. There we go. Now, aside from my terrible aim today, that's a much better cut. And that edge is going to be fine. No worries at all. Again, ugly notching on my part. You can see how smooth those cuts are now. In through 2 knots. And a sap line into the heartwood, and a bit of rot just there. Another sap line just here. And that edge is held up perfect. And that took less than 10 minutes to fix from that damage we had before. That's an awesome axe. Good stuff.